Hello, everyone. This is Darcenovia here, and this time I'm doing a review on, one of the first story arcs in the Empire comic, which is a series of comics that focused on, various characters during the early days of the rebellion. Now, this comic I'm talking about here takes place before and during A New Hope. That is the saga of Biggs Darklighter. Now, if are familiar with the deleted scenes with him, you're going to be familiar with this story. Essentially, if you've listened to the audio drama, some of those scenes are actually in here. This comic does give more context to, what Biggs was doing during the events of A New Hope. And we actually get to, read, you know, the events of the film from the perspective of Biggs. And because there is only so much you can do during the events of A New Hope, and it's actually interesting reading about what Biggs did and how his contribution actually contributed to the Battle of Yavin, and how the rebellion actually got a hold of the X-wings. That's actually explained in this story, as far as I know. And another thing I really liked about this story is we got to learn more about Luke and Biggs' friendship, and we got a chance to learn more about the character himself. And it makes his death far more tragic. Who would think that reading a story about a character that barely has any lines in A New Hope, barely appears, could be a character that you feel sad about when dying at the end of a New Hope? Because this comic, he's gonna die, and when he does die, it's sad because he's a young man that had a lot of potential, and his you know life was just ended before his time. Biggs is a likable character, and that's one thing I really did like about this comic. We learn certain things about his childhood, and we also learn how him and Luke, you know, how great they were as friends. And you could see why, Luke took his death, hard when he died. And I think one of those comics in the classic Marvel run was a really good comic because Luke was reflecting on that. And this is the only other story that really focuses on Biggs at all, and the only one that focuses him as the main character. The writing is really good. I think the artwork is really good, and you could pick this comic up without reading any of the other, you know, arcs in this, series of Star Wars comics, and you're definitely going to enjoy it. This comic, in my opinion, is a really good story. I consider it one of the best Star Wars stories. And I appreciate the comic book artists and the writers going out of their way to find characters that appear in the movies and give them a story. Biggs has a story. And even though it's one arc, it's a story nevertheless, a good story. And one of the best examples on how the expanded universe does a great job on taking characters you wouldn't give a shit about and actually making you actually care about them by the end of the story. Now I know you're not going to get, some stuff like you basically have scenes from A New Hope that are done from the perspective of Biggs, and you basically, you know, read the Battle of Yavin through Biggs's point of view. But I still think this is a good story. And if you're a fan of these kind of stories that, explore, the origins of the rebellion, or more of the warfare part of Star Wars that focuses on, the military aspect, I think you would really like this story. I give this story a classic rating. Really good. I am looking forward to actually reviewing more comics in the Empire series. This is Darcinovia. May the Force be with you all, and see you guys next time with another video.